Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another live stream. Just double checking if everything is working fine. Okay, the audio should be on, and everything should be working fine. Okay, so the markets are seeing a bit of a pump, which is always a good thing for us. We're going to take a look at Bitcoin first, and we're going to go through some altcoins because the altcoins are doing, some of them are doing 60 to 70% on the 7-day chart, so that's really good. We're going to briefly talk about the FOMC meeting, but we discussed that over the past few meetings, and I think at this point it's pretty much confirmed we are going to be getting a cut in September, the first cut, and then investors are also expecting a 0.5% cut in November, which is when the next FOMC is going to take place. But welcome everyone who's joining. You can start sending your altcoin requests if you have any. In the meantime, we'll take a look at Bitcoin. And I'm working with a new setup right now, so this should be more comfortable for me, and this should mean more charts for you, because we were stuck with only one specific chart for all of the previous live streams, but right now we are able to jump between charts and I can pretty much show my entire screen. So taking a look at Bitcoin, we can see that wave 5 is what we're waiting for here. So we had our wave 1 from November 2022. Wave 2 bottom came into play in September 2023. And then from September into April 2024, we had a massive wave 3. And it seems like wave 4 has played out already. If not, we could potentially drag this out until September 18th and 17th when we have the FOMC meeting. And from there, once we start getting the cuts, we might see a pump. However, before that happens, we have to see what the markets do, because if the markets continue pumping from today and in the coming weeks onwards, it could be that the pump for the interest rate cut is going to be priced in already. So we're not going to see much of a pump potentially if we, like after the FOMC meeting and after they cut the interest rates, if we see this essentially uptrend continuing into September. But if we have another few weeks of sideways movement, then it is possible we're going to get a pump after the FOMC meeting. That's important to keep in mind. So you can see this massive resistance block above us between $71,000 and $60,000 below over here. This is the weekly chart, so it's going to be, we're looking at very important targets and long-term targets. So what happened right now is we had a quick wick down to this lower support block between $50,000 and $47,000, which we did give you before this even happened. And we have the 55 EMA in that area as well. So the 55 EMA is essentially your plan B in this scenario. Whenever we lose the 20 EMA, the 55 EMA is going to be your support. So we haven't really even retraced back down to the 55 EMA, so this wasn't a hefty correction like the one that we saw back in 2021. That was a 55% correction. What we saw over here in 2024 was merely a 32.7% correction. Now, if we were to have a 55% correction, we would have tanked all the way down to $32,500. That would have been quite a lot, and I can imagine people selling when we see a $32,500 Bitcoin. But right now, we're doing everything we need to be doing. We're climbing back above the 20 EMA. So the first major signal for me would be a closing of the weekly candle above the 20 EMA. That would be the signal of our, of this uptrend potentially continuing. The fourth quarter is usually very bullish for the crypto markets of pretty much any year, especially when you consider the fact that we are in election year. If we go to the monthly chart, you can see we're still quite overextended from the 20 EMA here. So even if we have a crash in the next few weeks, coming back down to $47,000 would be completely healthy, because we've had such an incredible move to the upside here that it's only natural that we have a retracement. And we did have this retracement here, this massive wick, but as you can see, we're showing tremendous buying power from below. And that is a good sign. That shows that people are coming in and they're sweeping the lows. Institutions are doing the same, but obviously the paper hands, the retail, the grandmas, they're going to be dumping when we see even a 10% pullback. That's just the way it is. And notice this March 2022 local top. That's going to be something important for us to hold. I mentioned this before in previous live streams, and we are holding it with this wick. So everything is going nicely for the charts here on the monthly. The RSI is back below the level of 70, which was obviously considered overbought. And then we were overbought here in May 2021, or was that March? Yeah, February, March 2021. So what we're looking for is scenario number one. We have a bit of a retracement, further retracement down, and then the move into 2025 where we get overextended like we did over here and we did over here. Or from here from starting September, October, we already start building that wave 5 to the upside. Now, in terms of the price, what can we expect? Again, I like to be very conservative with my expectations. It's always better to sell earlier than later. We'll take a look at Eagle, my friend. Elorm, how are you doing, my friend? How are you doing? Archie, it's going great. How are you doing? Long time no see. Start a live stream. Join me right now. So we set up a Fibonacci from the bottom in January to the top in March 2021, and we have a 1.618 target here on the monthly chart at roughly $137,000. We have the 1.414 sitting at 105,000 and the 1.272 at 87,000. Now, a smart strategy, in my opinion, would be to take profits off your altcoins every milestone that Bitcoin surpasses. So let's say we get back to $70,000, you sell a bit of your altcoins, we get up to $75,000, you sell more, we get to 80, 85, and so on and so forth. And you just take maybe 5-10% off of your entire altcoin holding with each milestone. That way you're taking profits along the way to the top. And of course, at the same time, you could have separate targets for your altcoins. And let's say your near protocol targets are sitting at $25. You keep selling along Bitcoin milestones, and then if it gets to $20, you sell whatever amount you wanted to sell at $20. So you can modify and customize your strategy according to your needs, according to your financial situation. But if you're expecting to catch the absolute top, that is not going to happen. That's not how the markets work. I'm doing great. The markets are recovering. We're going to take a look at some altcoins, and things are getting exciting now. We're very close to the interest rate cuts, so it's going to be exciting times ahead of us. So let's go to the 7-day on coin market cap. So Fetch is doing a 52.9% move to the upside. We just covered Fetch, I think, on my channel. That was the last video we did on my channel. Let's quickly take a look at that. There we go. And we discussed on this video how this is potentially our wave 4 bottom. But hold on. There we go. And if you follow through that video, if you were dollar cost averaging into Fetch, right now you could have been up already by 53%. Render is up 40%. This is something that I advised you guys look into when it was sitting below $4. I believe this was sitting below $4. Let's go to the monthly chart. Well, we briefly got below $4 at the start of August here. So it's not the best entry, but it's still way better than, $1.4 billion market cap. That was a good entry. That was a good entry. Unfortunately, I did not manage to get into render. We have Polygon Matic doing a 41 or 42% on the 7-day, and Polygon Matic is a high cap altcoin, so this is a really, really bullish thing. Now, I did share this in our Telegram chat. You can see that we have a support block between 39 cents and 34.5 cents. And every single time you come down to that area, you have a move to the upside. So over here, we got stuck in that block in March 2021. Once again, in 2022, we had a retracement to that area. And then in 2024, we came back down to that area, and we're hopefully going to see a similar move to the upside. Now, you can also see we have a resistance trend line above us, and that is something that could be worrying to some, because on our next move to the upside, we could run into it again and then see a pullback from there. But essentially what's happening is that we have a channel down, or rather not a channel down pattern, but this is a descending triangle. So each top is lower, but we're bouncing off a horizontal support. So usually what happens, especially in downtrends or in bear markets, you come to the apex of this pattern and you break down from there. And I do not think that's going to happen with Polygon Matic due to the fact that we are in a bull market. We're waiting for the next major leg up in this bull market. So it's very possible we are going to see a breakout above the white trend line, and that will be a major signal. And what you can also take a look at is the volume indicator. Once the volume starts doing something like this, then that essentially is going to confirm the breakout, because with the breakout, we do need to see a stronger move to the upside. But if there's no volume, if we're just barely breaking above the white trend line and the markets are not performing well in general, that could be a signal that this is a fake out. In any case, we were picking up some Matic at those prices there at, I believe, 37 cents was our last purchase on Patreon. And of course, you can take a look at our Patreon. We have a link down below in the... Apologies about that. We have a link down below in the description that takes you to our Patreon, where you can take a look at all of our posts from the past few years. We started back in October 2021. And if you go to the collection sections, for example, if you don't want to become a member, you just want to get some access to some content, we are selling our collections of low cap gem videos and our exit strategies. So you can take a look at those if you're interested. This way you get access to these videos for life, and you don't have to necessarily be a monthly follower, if that makes sense. So feel free to take a look at the collection section on our Patreon, and there's a 7-day free trial for anyone looking to become a member. But jumping back into Polygon Matic, I'm very confident in this project. Again, we're not expecting 100x from something like this, but I do think $5 is a target that is possible. So if we set up a Fibonacci retracement from that level, from this bottom here, or rather, let's actually, there we go. So essentially, we're taking this bottom from June 2022, and we're taking the top from December 2021, and we have a 1.272 target at $5. And I think that's doable. In this bull market, that is going to be a 770% to the upside. I think that is a very doable target for Polygon Matic. Let's take a look at what the market cap would look like. So Polygon Matic, $5, that would be a $46.4 billion market cap. I think that's possible. That sounds quite possible in my opinion. So going down the list, we have Beam performing well, Phantom, Immutable X is doing really well. And we'll start taking a look at your altcoins in a second. Immutable X, we did enter at $1 on Patreon. So for those of you who were following and got in, congratulations. Multiverse, Algorand, some of the high cap coins are doing well. Injective is back above $22. Chainlink is performing well. It's doing like a 50% from its local bottom. Cardano is still below 40 cents. Mantra's up. Yeah. Okay. So let's start with the requests. And I believe the first one we had was Eagled from Adrian Santos. I believe that's the right way to pronounce your name. There we go. So let's take a look at the weekly chart and let's see what's happening. So if you've seen my Eagled updates on YouTube, we do cover Eagled and we try to do a weekly update for this project. And you can see we're looking at a wave 2 bottom, which potentially has played out already. And on top of that, we did bounce off of this yellow support trend line that we talked about in our previous update. So this upper yellow trend line was our resistance for the longest time until we broke out above it in October 2023, as you can see over here. And then after that happened, we slowly made our way back down to that previous resistance, but this time we're back testing it as support. So we broke above a resistance, we came back down, retested as support. From there, we're looking at a move to the upside. So this was a really good entry point for Multiverse. And I do own some Multiverse. I believe my average is around $30 or $33 or so. So we're quite low. And in terms of our targets to the upside, so we took the bottom from September 2023 and the top from December 2021. And you can see our minimum target is going to be $944 during the bull market. I think if we are able to perform well by the end of this year, there's a good chance we're going to be sitting at at least $700 to $800 by the end of the bull market. But for that, we do need to start breaking this February 2024 top. A good thing is that we broke above the August 2022 high, which a lot of altcoins failed to do. And this is incredibly important because this was the resistance that sent us into this downward spiral after that crash. So we started retracing, ran into that resistance, and it sent us back down. So breaking above it was a really good signal. And then we printed a double top pattern here and we crashed down, which is fine as long as we print a higher low. And that's exactly what we're doing. If you're looking to enter Eagled right now, you still have an opportunity. We're below the 20 EMA on the weekly. So feel free to take a look at the prices below $35 and have a good entry point. And let's take a look at the RSI. The RSI is quite low. The stochastic is just starting to reverse down. And as you can see, we got pretty close to this support block that we've had for multiple years now. This was a really good entry point back in June. But that's everything for Eagled. I'm bullish on the project, still holding, staking on the Ledger Live app. I think we top before the election, then drop hard. 2025 will be a crash like nobody has seen. That is an interesting proposition. However, I think that is only going to happen if Trump doesn't win, because Trump is the pro-crypto side, and then Biden and his administration, or now Kamala, are trying to seem like they're not so against crypto, but we all know that. And then again, even with Trump, we can't really trust what he says, because just a few years ago he was crapping all over Bitcoin, but now all of a sudden it's going to be the, we're going to be holding it in our national reserves. So these people like to play tricks and mind games, but as long as Trump sticks to his word and actually does something beneficial to the crypto community, then I think 2025 is going to be a continuation of the bull market. But if the other side were to take the victory, then yeah, things may not be as bullish as they could have been. But in any case, I don't really support either side or anything like that. It's irrelevant, in my opinion. Doesn't change anything. But let's go to the next request. So Martin is asking for Polkadot. Let's take a look at Polkadot. There will be a Polkadot 2.0 video coming out on Patreon today, and then we're going to be dropping it on YouTube probably next week. So Polkadot is doing something quite similar to what Multiverse Eagle did. We had this resistance trend line that we kept bouncing off of. We broke above it in November, and then we slowly made our way back down, back tested that exact trend line as support, and from there, we're hoping to see a move to the upside. If you were looking for a, let's say, short to mid-term trade, you could have entered at the white trend line, and you could have, well, you could target $5.69, which is where the red block is. As you can see, this red block is our previous support / resistance. We've retested it multiple times. The last time was here in June 2024 before we bounced up and broke down below it. So now we could come back up, retest it as resistance, and then continue the downtrend. That's one possible way of looking at things. But again, if the markets are performing very well, then all of the altcoins are going to be performing very well. So as of right now, this is sitting at a good buying opportunity. If you still don't have any Polkadot, make sure to take a look at the current prices. Still very good in my opinion. Very, very cheap. Okay, so let's just put a price tag there. Yeah, and let's take a look at the oscillators. So the weekly RSI is quite low. And the last time we were this low was back in September 2023, which is where our bear market bottom is. And then taking a look at the stochastic, we have the same scenario. We've been in the oversold since April this year. And the last time we were down there was back in September / October. Again, previous bottom or the bear market bottom, that's exactly where it was. So are we printing a local bottom? Are these indicators telling us that we are printing a local bottom? It is possible. And you combine that with the fact that we're bouncing off of a support trend line, with the fact that we're getting the September cuts in just a few weeks for the interest rates. It looks like this wave 2 bottom has played out. Again, we're potentially looking at a 5-wave scenario here. Whatever the all-time high price is going to be. We're looking for the wave 3 to start relatively soon. And that hopefully is going to take us into 2025. But as long as we're below the 20 MA, it's good to buy. You don't even need specific levels when you're this cheap and when you're this low. Polkadot is probably going lower, but some of the altcoin in its ecosystem might be worth looking at. They have quite a few good altcoins. People are upset with Moonbeam, understandably so. Kusama, we have Moon River, which I also hold, both of those. But some of the altcoins in its ecosystem. Another one that we had was Polkadex, but unfortunately that had a bit of a bearish turn with its team members. So hopefully things will get figured out and Polkadex will be back on track because it is a really, really good project. Polar Bear Man says, from the top to the bottom, did we retrace to the 382? Well, let's take a look. Well, we're way past the 382, my friend. So, yeah, I'm not sure what you maybe you set up the fib in a slightly different way, but the 382 is all the way up here. And usually the golden ratio is where you want to be retracing to before you have a move to the upside. But we dumped down to the 786. So this was our support essentially that held us. $4.60. That was a really good entry point. And it also lined up nicely with this bottom in June 2023 and with this bottom from December 2022. Chris is asking for track origin trail, seems to be recovering well and generally follows fetch. Let's take a look. $246 million market cap. So this is available on crypto.com, KuCoin, Kraken, Gate, and Coinbase. So a Binance listing would obviously cause a massive pump. So we were sitting at a $566 million market cap and saw roughly a 50% retracement. Let's take a look at the price action chart. And this is the weekly, just keep that in mind. Okay, let's just bring that down a bit. So that was our bear market bottom in November 2022. So this actually bottomed out with Bitcoin at the same time, which is quite impressive. Not every altcoin did that. Some of them bottomed out around a year later. And then from this bottom, we went up approximately 928%. So a 10x. And by the way, let me know if my audio is fine. Let me know if the audio is fine, because since I have two screens now, I do turn my head away. So I don't want the audio to be poorer than it was. If it is, then we'll switch up the microphone for the next live stream. But let me know if it's fine. So 922% to the upside and then a 72% dip. I mean, this is set to take out its previous all-time high. I think that's the thing that goes without saying. Let's set up a fib. So we ran into the 786 on the way up. A lot of altcoins did the exact same thing. Some of them even ran into the golden ratio and had a retracement. But what's important, again, just to point this out, we do need to be printing higher highs and higher lows. So we have a high here, we have a higher high over here. We have a low, higher low, and again, a higher low. So with the next move to the upside, we want to be printing a higher high again. But in terms of this big Fibonacci retracement, this large one that's set up from the bottom in November 2022 to the November 2021 all-time high, we're looking at $5.21. Then we have $7.74, and the 1.618 is sitting at $13. Now let's see what the market cap is going to be like for a $13 track token. That would be a $5.3 billion market cap. I mean, it doesn't sound too crazy, 21x. Doesn't sound too crazy, but I'd probably start taking profits much earlier. In terms of buying, again, it depends if you've done your research into the project, if you're bullish on this project. Anytime you have a correction, it's always good to dollar cost average into your altcoin. In terms of buying right now, I think this is a good buying opportunity. Of course, it's not as good as down here. That goes without saying, but just because you missed out on this area doesn't mean you have to miss out on all of the other opportunities. So don't get too attached to these bottom prices thinking you're either buying only at those same prices or you're not buying this at all. If you don't like the current price, you don't like the current market cap, you can switch over to a different altcoin that potentially has more profit in its future. But in terms of buying Origin Trail, I think this is a great buying opportunity. And the chart looks amazing. If we compare where we were back 4 years ago, you know, this is an exponential growth here. So those are your 3 targets for the bull market, and that's pretty much it for Origin Trail. RSI and Stochastic are pretty much doing the exact same thing across the board for all of the altcoins, because all of them suffered a major correction, and now it looks like we're starting to build some hype back into the markets. What about garbage Moonbeam? Let's take a look at the Moonbeam token. Glimmer. I mean, this was a really close call, to be honest, because what we did with Cosmos is when we lost our September 2023 bottom, I unstaked my tokens, and I'm going to be switching my Cosmos tokens to something else. But with this, we haven't necessarily fully broken below, right? We just closed the candle. Technically, we did, but it seems that we're recovering. As long as we are able to close these candles above the blue support block, we should be good for continuation. And then we failed to break above our August 2022 top, which is sitting at the 1.272 here. So if I just remove this real quick, this fib is no longer valid this way, so we have to readjust it. So from that bottom to that top in March 2024, we're looking at $1.35 as our technical target, which also lines up nicely with this top from May 2022. But that's only if we break above 59 cents, which is our local top here. Now, what I wanted to show you is this Fibonacci that we had set up to the downside. So you have your 3 targets to the downside. In case we start losing the September 2023 bottom, you're going to be targeting these 3 extension levels. By default, your minimal target is 11.5 cents or so, which is the 1.272. I would say that's most likely to be hit if we continue this correction. After this slight retracement to the upside, Bitcoin continues dropping, we could see GLMR get down to those prices, but that is going to be negative in general because we're not even, we're still in this downtrend. We're still printing. We did break above the February high, but in terms of the August high, we still printed a lower high. We're printing lower lows all the time. So we need to see some sort of a shift. We need to see a massive pump and then consolidation at some level so that we can build a support block. Sorry for that. Let's take a look at the. So again, same thing for the stochastic and for the RSI. We're sitting at our bottom values for the stochastic, and the RSI is back where we were in October/September 2023. So that is a good buying opportunity, but then again, do not buy all in. Don't go all in, no matter the token. I think Bitcoin is the only thing you can really go all into, and that's it. Otherwise, spread out your buy orders, spread out your sell orders, try to be conservative. Don't set up these massive targets to the upside that are illogical. Hello there, Arif. How are you doing, my friend? Maximum $2 for this position. At the moment, looking at Moonbeam and what it's doing, $2 seems like a conservative good target. Yes, I agree with that. But if once we have the Polkadot 2.0 update, hopefully coming out later this year, if things switch up for the Polkadot ecosystem, if we start getting more demand, more developers onboarding, and that would mean more eyes on all of the Polkadot projects, in that case, we could see a more bullish outcome for all of the Polkadot coins, including the Dot coin. But as of right now, I tend to be conservative with the Polkadot ecosystem and the targets. So once we see the switch in the narrative, yes, we're going to move up the target slightly, especially if we see more volume coming in, if we see, these large green candles across the board for the Polkadot coins. Until that happens, we're going to be conservative, and we're going to try to take profits where we can, and that's it. Could you take a look at Apt, please? Let's take a look at Apt. That's Aptos. Okay, so we're on the weekly. So we have a nice block over here, a nice support area. Can actually move it up a bit, just like that. There we go. So this is a massive support block for us. We came back down to it this summer. The last time we retested it back in October 2023. So we came back down to our previous support, retested it, and now we're trying to break above the 20 EMA and the 55 EMA. That is our next major mission here on the chart. Because we did print a bearish cross on the weekly, which is when the 20 EMA crosses below the 55 EMA. So the 20 is the yellow, the red is the 55 EMA. Once you see a cross on the weekly chart, that means we're going to be continuing this downtrend for the foreseeable future. So sometimes we do see a reversal sooner than some of the other times. Hopefully, this is going to be one of those cases where we just see a quick reversal in the markets. And then starting September, October, we are going to be extremely bullish across the board. As long as Bitcoin hasn't done this, it's not that important that altcoins did it, or some of the altcoins printed this signal. As long as the Bitcoin weekly chart is healthy and the monthly weekly chart for Bitcoin is healthy, that is what's going to be leading the markets. And the same is true for Ethereum to a lesser extent. In terms of buying Aptos, I would say this is a good buying opportunity. From the all-time high there, we're down 77%. Right now, we're down 61%, but in August, we were down 77%. So from that bottom, we're up approximately 66%. And then we do have a nice support trend line. Well, it was our support trend line, but now it flipped to our resistance. So we'll see if we have a back test of resistance off of $8.11. I would also set up some buy limit orders at $5.65 just in case we have a few wicks down into that support block. Having buy limit orders set up in advance is a major advantage over everyone else, because once we see these wicks and these corrections, especially when you're asleep, you can't do anything about the markets, right? You don't have your app in front of you. When you have those orders ready and set up to go, they're going to get filled even if you're asleep. That's a really important feature to use on centralized exchanges, because that's how I get into some of my, into some of the really good positions. Unless you're, buying on a daily or weekly basis, you're just dollar cost averaging all the time, that's fine. Or let's say if you have a stack of money that you don't want to be investing right now, but you want to keep it in case we have a massive crash, you could set up a bunch of buy limit orders on your centralized exchange and just wait in case it happens. If it doesn't, so be it, but at least you prepared some arrangements to sweep the lows. And then again, you have to choose your centralized exchange very carefully. I would suggest going with something like Binance, Coinbase, or Kraken, because those are the safest, biggest exchanges. Avoid putting a lot of money on the smaller tier exchanges, because sometimes they can block your account. Like with MEXC, I've had some of my subscribers tell me that once certain accounts on MEXC have an amount above, $100,000, $200,000, sometimes they don't let you withdraw, they block your account, etc. Let me know if you've had any of those experiences with MEXC, but that's something, just an off-topic tip for you to consider. Let's set up a Fibonacci retracement here from that top, or from that bottom rather, to that top. We have this 0.382, very close to the target, to our resistance there, and it's very close to the 2 EMAs. So there's a lot of resistance in this area here, a lot of resistance to get through for the price action. Once we can do that, I think our next major target would be the golden ratio. On the fib, that's always a pretty significant level. And then if we get rejected from that, right, you're printing a lower high, and unless we don't hold the EMAs at that point and we start losing them, then we're coming back down to this support block. But that's looking to ahead in the future. But A bullish sign would be breaking above the golden ratio there at $10.95. That would be a very, very bullish scenario. The project is quite new, so it's very hard to give any concrete targets to the upside during the bull market, but all we can do is take a look at this fib and set up some targets based on the extension levels here. So $35 per this Fibonacci retracement. So if we break $17, you're going to be looking at $35 down the line as your technical target. So hopefully that covers Aptos, my friend. We have Clover Finance from Polar Bearman. Clover is something that we covered on Patreon as well. And this is available on Binance. Just want to make sure this is the correct. Yeah, that's it. CLV is the ticker. And I was looking to get into this project quite a while ago. And the market cap is still low, $48.8 million market cap. That is extremely low. And this is already on Binance, on OKX, on Gate, on KuCoin. By the way, OKX is a really good exchange. I started using it not too long ago. Not paid advertising or anything, but it's just a really easy, smooth exchange to use. Okay. So this has been trading since August 2021. Essentially, they got a listing during the bull market ending phase, which wasn't the best scenario for them. But let's take a look at the price action chart. Okay, so a massive crash here. I want to see what the circulating supply has been doing. Let's take a look at token unlocks, see if they have this. No, they don't. Let's take a look at cryptorank.io. There we go. Let's take a look at the vesting schedule here. Okay, so 100% of the tokens have been unlocked. And let's take a look. Okay, so just in July, so July 2024 is when the unlocks completed. Okay, so 1 billion tokens. This is interesting now. So they have the entire supply out, and this is a really, really good point to keep in mind. Yeah, because I wanted to verify the circulating supply of the CoinMarketCap, because sometimes CoinMarketCap gets things wrong. But this looks really bullish. Clover Finance, or Clover, is a blockchain operating system. It provides a one-step, easy-to-use blockchain infrastructure and an Ethereum virtual machine, or an EVM, compatible framework for substrate-based applications. Clover Finance, another offspring of the Substrate Polkadot parachain, aims at bridging and compatibility gap when building and operating across blockchains. So a Polkadot project here. So yeah, since the entire supply is out in circulation, this is a really, really, I'm going to save it to my watch list. This is going to be a really good buy for anyone who's into these kind of Polkadot projects. But taking a look at the price action, from what I see, it's a good buying opportunity right now. Because we're sitting at a bottom. You might think that I'm saying every altcoin is at a good buying opportunity. If you go back to March and my April videos and my whatever the top, yeah, it was March, April. We were saying the exact opposite. We were saying you don't really want to be buying at these tops because we're sitting at a top. So when we're sitting at a good buying opportunity, I'll tell you it's a good buying opportunity. But when we were sitting up here, with projects like Near Protocol and Chainlink, I was telling you this is not a good buying opportunity. Do not buy at these local tops. Don't get into projects because you're going to see a correction at some point, and that's exactly what happened. So those people that stayed away from buying and had some patience, which is very important in this market, you're able to buy in at these lows here. Now let's see what the all-time high was. Let's say this level here. That level was $1.70. Let's go to the coin perspective and let's take a look at $1.70 for Clover Finance. That's a 34x, and that's a $1.7 billion market cap. Now let's see what the market cap was during that top there, 180. Yeah, you can see the supply got, the token dilution here is crazy. So the all-time high was $240 million market cap, and going back up to the same price would be 34x, but this time it's going to be a $1.7 billion market cap. That means a lot more tokens, pretty much the entire token supply has been released. Therefore, the market cap is going to have to be much, much higher. Okay, and again, taking a look at the price action, really good entry point in my opinion. I would definitely be buying here if either I had some extra spare cash or if I was looking to get into this project altogether. That's a nice bottom structure there for you. Just readjust it just a little bit. There we go. We're printing a higher low as well. That's pretty important to point out. And we almost broke above our August 2022 high, just barely making it. But we essentially ran into that exact same level as resistance. So from there, we saw a correction. The next time we attack that trend line, hopefully we're going to be able to see a breakout. We can set up a Fibonacci retracement to take a look at some potential targets after we break above the local top from March. 26.5 cents. Okay. So right now we're sitting at almost at 5 cents. This would be a $269 million market cap. And of course, a dollar would be a $1 billion market cap. So take a look at CLV, interesting project. Again, the stochastic is sitting at its bottom price or values. The same goes for the RSI. We're back where we were in October 2023, but I think we started pumping earlier. Apologies for that. So we were sitting, okay. So this entire section over here was an incredible opportunity to get into CLV. And then we started pumping, and let's compare the stochastic with what the RSI was doing. So look, the stochastic in November 2023 is sitting in its overbought. However, the RSI isn't. This is why we use the stochastic for short to mid-term trading, and then the RSI we use for more long-term price targets and trading. Anyway, CLV, good buying opportunity right now. Feel free to take a look at the project. We're going to try to go faster through some other coins. Audio is good. Thank you. You're expecting Bitcoin top price $120,000 to $150,000 is what I'm expecting. No problem, Chris. Tia, please, let's take a look at Celestia. Hopefully you took some profits on your airdrop at $20. Wait, we don't have Celestia here? No, we don't. Okay, let's take a look at Celestia. There we go. So quite a strong breakdown for the TIA token. we have a support block that we mentioned. I believe we covered this in the previous live stream. If not, then in our TA update. But Celestia over here on the daily chart, as you can see, sitting between $4.79 to $4.50. That's a pretty strong support block that we have been holding since July. And then we keep printing lower highs. So let's see if we can break above this red trend line that keeps rejecting us every time we come up. So if we have a move to the upside from here, our next target would be $7.18. And after that, we're going to be looking at $8.15, which is the two trend lines there. I'm going to set up the price tags for you. In terms of buying, I would say these are really good buying opportunities. Let's switch to the weekly. Look, we're below the 20 EMA on the weekly. That's always a good buying signal, in my opinion. And when you break above the 20 EMA on the weekly, then things are obviously flipping bullish, and you don't really want to be buying those big green candles. But for now, this is an opportunity to dollar cost average into Celestia if you're still bullish on the project. In terms of our targets to the upside, we're going to be looking at $28 over there. That would be our technical target. But again, we'll see. I think the supply is getting bigger for Celestia. No information here. Okay, let's take a look at this then. So Celestia, let's go to the vesting schedule. So we have 25% unlocked from the total supply. Let's go to the CoinMarketCap page just to compare the market cap with the all-time high price. So $3.2 billion market cap all-time high, 20.5 in terms of dollar value. So let's take a look at TIA. And let's say we were to get back up to $20.50 this time around, it would be a $4.2 billion market cap. Again, last time we were at $20.50, we were sitting at a $3.3 billion market cap. So now the market cap is going to have to be much bigger in order for us to get back up to those same prices. Let's say we're looking at $28. That's going to be a $5.8 billion market cap. I think that is doable for Celestia. If nothing bearish happens with the project specifically, we don't have a huge team, disorganization, then we should be fine. At the very least, you can start taking profits closer to the previous all-time high. And then as you continue moving forward, you just take more profits. You can set up whatever strategy you'd like. Are we going to test bottom again to 55K? Also, what's your price at peak bull run, please and thanks? So like I said, with my price during the bull market top, what we're looking at is $120,000 to $150,000. And then in terms of the correction that we could potentially get if we're going to see a 55K, I would say the 55 EMA on the weekly chart is still a good level to retest in case we see a correction. So make sure you have the 55 EMA on your weekly chart up and running. If we take a look at the previous correction that we had in 2021, you can see we retested the 55 EMA over here. And from there, we went up to complete our bull market. And then over here, we just had a wick down to the 55 EMA. So we could have another correction, come back down to the 55 EMA, consolidate, have the EMAs come back closer together, right? And then once we have the explosion, the EMAs, again, do something similar to what they did over here. Because when there is a massive gap between the EMAs, that is signaling that some sort of a local top is coming in. And once the EMAs are close together like this, let me show you. As you see over there, we have a massive, massive move to the upside. So that's another small indicator for you to look at. If the EMAs are too overextended away from each other, maybe wait for a correction before you buy in. But what are your guys' predictions for the Bitcoin top? I mean, I would say $150,000 is possible. But the thing is, I'm not going to be waiting until $150,000. I'm going to start taking profits from $95,000 to $100,000. I'll be taking profits off my altcoins as we continue going up, as my altcoin, specific targets are going to be met individually. But I'm not going to be waiting until 150K to start selling my altcoins. That's not going to be smart at all. Hassan Akman, can you check the Bitcoin dominance chart? What's potential top and start for the alt season? So we looked at this in the previous live streams, but so this is the Bitcoin dominance chart. Let's go full screen here. So this blue area, this blue block, is based on a few touches here from, I believe it was on the daily that we set it up. Let me just double check quickly. Okay, it was probably on the monthly. Yep, it was on the monthly. So let's go back to, let's readjust this just slightly. There we go. So this blue resistance block is based on these touches from November 2018 and March 2019. We had a bit of a trading range in here, and then we exploded into September 2019. From there, the Bitcoin dominance started dropping. And the massive, massive drop that we saw from January 2021 to June 2021, that was essentially the alt season of that bull market. And we haven't seen that yet in this bull market. So essentially what happens is the money from Bitcoin starts flowing into Ethereum, the higher cap altcoins, and then from there it goes into all the mid caps, all the low caps, and the shit coins and the meme coins. So we haven't seen that happen. Whatever we saw was with the Bitcoin dominance growing, with the interest rates sitting at 5% and so on, with all the bearish narratives that have been thrown into the crypto market. So imagine once we have the interest rate cuts, once we have Bitcoin dominance dropping, once we have major companies openly talking about Bitcoin, which is happening already, and once we have Trump, if he wins the elections, buying Bitcoin for his national reserves and trying to set up the US as the main hub for crypto because they want to compete with China in that regard. All of that is going to lead to a massive, massive alt season. We just have to complete this Bitcoin move to the upside. I think if we were to get above 57% over here, this would cause a pump. So we would have a nice pump to the upside. That pump is probably going to take us to, let's say, $100,000 to $110,000, where we kind of peak out for Bitcoin. And then we slowly start losing the dominance. Again, when you lose the dominance on this chart, that doesn't necessarily equate with Bitcoin losing its price, right? That's not always related to each other. Sometimes it is related, but with this example here in 2021, we were pumping with Bitcoin, but the dominance was dropping. That means more money was flowing into the altcoins than it was into Bitcoin. Okay? That's important to understand. Once we peak out on the dominance chart, whether it's going to be at 57% here, whether it's going to be slightly higher than that, maybe we could retest this resistance trend line that we have. Once that happens, and once we see a retracement starting to occur, that's when the alt season starts coming into play. That's when massive gains are going to come to all of us. And then it's going to be up to you to start taking profits. It's up to you to set up your exit strategies, to have your sell limit orders ready and set to go, to have your tokens unstaked so that they're liquid, right? Because sometimes you need 3 to 4 weeks to unstake your tokens. All of that has to be set up in advance. Again, if you're looking for exit strategies, we have around 20 videos on my Patreon, and we're constantly updating this playlist. with more exit strategies for the altcoins that I hold, for the altcoins that my patrons hold. So if you want to take a look at that, feel free to join our Patreon for 7 days for absolutely free, or you can obviously get access to all of these exit strategy videos by purchasing this collection separately if you want to do that. That way you have a lifetime access to these videos. So that's a nice, and then we also have a collection for low cap gems. We have 90 videos in total. So we covered 90 different low cap gems on Patreon in total. And you can get that as a separate collection as well without necessarily becoming a full-time Patreon member. But that's what I think of the Bitcoin dominance chart. And if you're asking whether we're going to see the exact same dominance drop play out here. So with this, we had a 48% dominance drop. I don't know if it's going to be the exact same way this time around. So let's say we get to this level here at 63.7, and let's say we have a drop of 25% even. That's going to cause a massive alt season. If it's more, that's going to be better. But again, I try to stay conservative with my predictions, with my expectations, so that I can take profits earlier, so that I can get out of the markets earlier, and so that I'm not going to be disappointed. Because if you set up your expectations too high for every single altcoin, it's very likely most of them will not reach your set targets. And you're going to not only not sell, you're going to ride the bear market wave down. You're going to stay for the next 2 to 3 years in a bear market. Yes, you can accumulate more, but the idea is you want to be selling during the bull market. Hopefully that's a clear explanation of this whole thing. LRC. Let's take a look at LRC. I think that's loop ring. I think we looked at this a few times. So $205 million market cap. Ethereum-based cryptocurrency token off Loopring, an open protocol designed for the building of decentralized crypto exchanges. In 2020, the average daily trading volume of the entire cryptocurrency market fluctuate. Okay, so let's go to the website. Ethereum's first ZK rollup layer 2. I want to take a look at Loopring Eco System. Loopring on Chainlink. Okay, so I just want to take a look at all the projects that we're building on Loopring, but can't find it this quickly, so we're not going to spend too much time on it. Circulating supply sitting at 1.36 billion out of the 1.37, so pretty much the entire supply is out. We have this token listed on Binance, Coinbase, OKX, Kraken, Gate, HTX, Bitfinex. So pretty much all of the major exchanges are already have already listed this token. Let's take a look at the price action chart. And welcome everyone who's joined the live stream. Feel free to start the live stream from the very beginning. We covered a lot of ground today. And if you're going to be watching this as a recording, it's going to be available right after we finish this live stream. And okay. Again, Loopring is doing something that I consider bearish, because we're losing, well, not something that I consider, but something that is inherently bearish, because you're losing a support level. You lost it over here. And if we take a look at something like Polygon Matic, we saw a bounce from that exact support block. But with Loopring, we couldn't hold this. The sellers, the bears took over, and we broke below that level. So what can we be targeting in this situation? that local top, which was sitting at 10, almost 11 cents. As long as you're below this blue support block, that is a good buying opportunity. That's going to be another good opportunity for you to take a look at. And you can set up buy limit orders for all of this. So 0.0887 cents. That is as low as we could go. Now let's set up a fib from the top there to the bottom. So from the top in March to the bottom in September last year, we took out the 1.272, the 1.414, and we almost got down to the 1.618. And the 1.618 is just right in between the two levels I just gave you here. So that's going to be a massive buying area for you between essentially 11 cents down to 8.5 cents. Anything with that, anything in that area, you can sweep that low. But again, just letting you know, it's bearish that we lost this support block. This could mean that it's going to take us longer to recover, obviously. So from that top, we're down 95%. And we only saw 250% move to the upside. If you zoom out and you take a look at the chart like this, like on the monthly, it's still doing pretty well because our December 2020 or December 2019 bottom is way down here. So we are printing a higher low in the grand scheme of things. We have this low, and then we're printing a higher low over here. It's just a matter of us finding our bear market bottom, because as of right now, we're still printing a new bear market bottom. So the bear market is not over for this project. That's something to understand. And the lower we go, the better opportunity it is for anyone who's looking to get into the project. So that's it for Loopring. Let's take a look at the next one, Velodrome. So this is something that we covered recently on Patreon, and it's performing quite well already. So when we were doing our Patreon video, I believe we were sitting somewhere down here at 7 cents or so. Right now, we're sitting at 10, almost 11 cents. Yeah, we almost got to 11 cents today. And this is Velodrome. This is an AMM on Arbitrum. So let's just see. Let me add a support level there. And let me add a fib, which you can do for some reason. Let's take a look at this fractal. So we took the bottom in August and the local top in July. We're potentially looking at 17 cents as our technical target here based on this fractal. And we're on our way to the upside. We broke above the golden ratio. We're breaking above the 786 here. So it looks like we're going to be taking out, or at least retracing back up to the local top there. If we break above it, we're going to be looking at 1.618 on the fib, which is almost 17 cents. I would probably not buy any tokens right now because we are printing two massive green candles. We don't want to be buying in when we're pumping. We want to be buying during retracement. So this was a good opportunity to buy in. This entire consolidation was a good area to buy in, but you don't want to be buying in right now. And unfortunately, I missed out on getting into Velodrome in time, but I will at some point in the near future, hopefully. And if you zoom out, you can see our previous bottom was somewhere around 5 cents or so. And this time we bottomed out around 6 cents. So we still printed a higher low, technically speaking. And from the all-time high in March 2024, we went down approximately 90%. Quite a hefty correction, but it's a new project, so I'm not surprised. That's Velodrome Finance. $78 million market cap. This is still a low cap gem. Okay, well, I think, okay, they migrated to a new, that's why. I keep forgetting. So they migrated to a new contract. That's why we have a And that's why it only shows February 2024 here. This is Charles McKeever. Charles, you have 3 different nicknames across Patreon, YouTube, and Telegram. So it's hard to tell who's who. But I know Charles got into Velodrome. Congratulations. Hopefully we can start breaking some resistance levels here to reverse the trend. And I would say the most important level to break out of this entire downtrend would be this May 2024 local top. Once we can get above that, I think the trend is going to be officially reversed. But if we do a 180 right now and we come back down and we start losing these support levels below us, then of course that's going to be a negative, very negative sign. I think meme coins are better for gains than these highly inflated VC scams. Now, there are definitely VC scams, I agree with that, but I think saying that the meme coins are better in terms of gains, I think they're better only for those people who get into the correct meme coins at the correct time and the ones that sell at the correct time. And it's very hard to get all 3 of those together because meme coins typically go up and down very quickly. And I personally do not own any meme coins. I strongly recommend against buying any meme coins whatsoever. My patrons and subscribers probably know this because I made it clear a long time ago. If you want to get into some meme coins, that's up to you, but I would not recommend any meme coins. Just because someone was able to make 100x on a meme coin doesn't mean that you have to go all into a meme coin, rather than researching some good AI or deepen projects that are actually solving issues, that are actually doing something, that are an actual project, rather than just some, paper token with a $15 trillion supply. Hi, can we go to IMX? Just going to go through some of the comments here. Eagled. So Eagled, we looked at Eagled at the start of the live stream. That was our first token we covered. So feel free to rewind back to the beginning of the live stream. Zach Morris thinks we're going to be looking at an $80,000 to $100,000 Bitcoin for this peak. I mean, it would be really poetic if the bull market ended at 100K, because that was our last bull market's expectation, and everyone got into this idea that we're going to be getting to 100K. And no one sold. So it would be really funny if the bull market peaked at 100K this time around. And I'm willing to restructure my strategy as always. It's always healthy to do that when there's an actual need for it, or there's an actual reason for it, not pure emotion. If Bitcoin is going to be underperforming by the end of this year, and we don't even break above $70,000, then we might have to re-strategize just a bit, and we have to move down our targets just a bit across the board. But if Bitcoin breaks above 100K in November after the elections, we could be in for a very fruitful first half of 2025. Some people are expecting the top to be in November 2025 due to some calculations from bear market bottoms to bull market tops. If everyone's going to be expecting the same thing, it's most likely not going to happen. Just letting you know. But I think it's better to get out early than to try to catch the top. My Bitcoin price prediction is 105,000. That's not bad. That's not bad. Anyway, I think regardless of what our predictions are for all of us, we should start taking profits off our altcoins after we break, let's say, $85,000 or $90,000. I think regardless of what you think Bitcoin's going to do next, you have to start taking some profits, because otherwise you're just asking for a correction to come into play. What is your opinion about A0? I don't remember what that project is, to be honest, but we'll take a look at it in a second. So we're going to have to wrap up very soon. Let's quickly take a look at a few requests. I appreciate all of you guys joining. We're going to do a live stream tomorrow as well. So make sure you have the bell notifications on, or feel free to join the Telegram groups that are linked in the description. So IMX, look at this chart. This is a very, very beautiful chart. So we bottomed out over here. Let's set up a block. So okay, I forgot to remove the drawings. So we already have a block set up. So this is between $1.34 to $1.08. We managed to get in at the very bottom here at $1, just over here with this wick, which was slightly below the golden ratio at the 0.618. And now we're seeing a bounce. Once we see a bounce off the 0.618, that is showing strength, because when you set up a fib, right, you have your top, you have your bottom, and then you start retracing. Usually when you bounce off the 0.618 and you continue, that is showing strength for the chart, and that is showing us that in the near future we could come back up to that local top. I think IMX is one of the projects that's definitely going to come back up to its all-time high, if not break higher than the all-time high. In terms of buying, I mean, you can if you want to. If you want to be buying in right now, you can, but I wouldn't go all in necessarily. I would still target the yellow block for future entries. I would just set up some buy limit orders. Again, you had plenty of time to dollar cost average into this, but if you are willing to buy in at $1.50, I think that, for me, it's a bit high. That's why I got in at $1. For IMX, if we're going to be looking at, let's say, $10, that's going to be a $15.7 billion market cap, which I think is doable. That's like the top gaming infrastructure project. I think that is doable. Let's say $15, we're looking at a $23.6 billion. That's 890%. So essentially a 10x. We're going to be looking at a 10x from the current prices. If you're okay with the 10x, sure, you can get into it. 10x is a really, really good trade as well. Don't get me wrong. You're not going to get 10x from anything in the real estate market or the S&P 500, unless you're really fortunate and you got in and you got a very good deal. But a 10x is still very good, and IMX is definitely going to get at least to its previous all-time high, in my opinion. So make sure to, if you want to buy in right now, make sure to set up some buy limit orders below with the levels that I gave you with this support block, in case we have a continuation of this downtrend that we're in. Unless we break above $1.67, we're still in this downtrend. Once we break above that level, then we're showing strength because we're breaking above a previous resistance level. And if we come back down, back tested as support, that's even better. I think I missed one request from before, right? From Noor Breezy? No, I didn't. Hello, Hazik. Can you check ALCX, please? I haven't really looked into that project. Never heard of that before. Maybe I have. What was it? LCX. Alchemix. $38 million market cap. 2.2 million tokens in circulation. Interesting. Is the governance token for the Alchemix protocol. Let's go to the Alchemix protocol. Alchemix is self-repaying loans, allow you to leverage a range of tokens without risk of liquidation. Again, just like with meme coins, anything to do with leverage, with loans, interest, I tend to stay away from that because it's very risky. You don't want to be involved in something that is very risky, because right now, and I haven't looked into it too much, but I think there are a bunch of Ethereum protocols that are leveraging staked Ethereum on top of each other and it's like a chain that is probably going to just cause a lot of problems when we have the bear market crash. It's going to be like a Luna situation, essentially, a Terra Luna situation. But let's take a look at the price action chart. ALCX. Alchemix, let's go to the weekly. So just like the other charts, this is seemingly printing a higher low, which is really, really good. We ran into the 55 EMA during the March move to the upside. So that's going to be our resistance level for now. And we have our support block over here. Let's add that just like that. There we go. So with this touch in December 2022, with this in September 2023 and July 2024, this is a nice bottom area for us to target in case in the future we do come back down lower. This is set up from $13.80 down to $10.67. Great buying opportunities right now, in my opinion. This is still a good buying opportunity. Yes, we're moving up slightly on the daily, but the market cap is quite low. So I don't think it's $38 million, still a low cap. So not a lot to worry about, but definitely look into the vesting schedule, see what the unlock schedule is looking like, if there are going to be any more token unlocks, because I don't want to spend too much time on all of the tokens. Okay, let's take a look at Solana real quick. Solana's doing good. So I stayed away from Solana during the bear market because of its affiliation with the FTX exchange, but this clearly, like Solana has clearly shown us that it can, it can go crazy, can go parabolic without the FTX influence. Now, this is looking very similar to the Bitcoin chart because we have a bounce off of the 55 EMA here on the weekly, just a wick down. Lots of buying pressure coming in below $130, and $126.20 is acting as a nice level of support here. And that is our 0.786 fib off of this Fibonacci retracement. So that is your support. We took the bottom in January 2023 and the top in November 2021. We broke above the 786 in March 2024, and since then we've been back testing the 786 as support. I think at some point we are going to get a breakout from this structure, because price compression usually leads to expansion of the price action, and a pretty strong pump here would be logical to expect. And yeah, Solana is solidifying itself as the next big altcoin behind Ethereum. I think the next one after that could probably be Chainlink. I think Chainlink is the next project that can focus on an ETF. I don't think we're going to be able to take a look at all the requests, guys, because we're already past an hour mark. I see percentage for Bitcoin by Wednesday, 75. So going back to the chart, Solana is doing very well. Personally, I would not be buying Solana at the current prices unless you're looking to buy into a very safe altcoin that is just going to balance out your portfolio, that could potentially just do, a 3 to 4 to 5x. In that case, I would look at Solana, and then you can just take profits, let's say at $600 once we get there, hopefully. Because I do think Solana is going to have a really nice wave 5. Again, we had our wave 3 over here from the bottom in September 2023 to the top in March 2024. And we just hopefully concluded wave 4, and we're going to be starting wave 5 relatively soon. Now, taking a look at the weekly RSI, it hasn't come down as much as some of the other altcoins, as you can see. Still quite high here, but we have retraced enough, in my opinion. We have retraced enough. We were in the overbought for quite a long time as well, but you do have this support block between 45 and 38 on the RSI, so make sure to target that in case we do have a retracement down the line. That is going to be a really good entry point, like it was back in June 2023 and August 2023. And keep in mind the stochastic is still in the oversold here. So if you're looking for a good buying opportunity as a safe altcoin again, Solana is the way to go. We're going to do a Moon River update as a separate video, my friend. Not enough time to take a look at everything. Great stream, bro. Have a good day. Thank you. Hey, Zeke, I'm late to the stream. Can you check out Arbitrum? Unfortunately, we don't have enough time, my friend. We are going to be back live tomorrow, so make sure to have the bell notification set up. We'll take a look at Arbitrum. We'll take a look at all the coins that we didn't have enough time to take a look at today. Arbitrum is moving very slow. Yeah, some of the layer twos on Ethereum are moving slower for some reason. But that has been it for this live stream, guys. I appreciate all of you joining in. I appreciate all of you leaving your requests. Once again, tomorrow we're going to have a live stream. And once again, make sure to take a look at our Patreon. We do have a 7-day free trial for anyone who's looking to join. So a 7-day free trial. And if you're just looking to get a collection from me of the exit strategies or the low caps, feel free to take a look at these. The link is down below in the description. Thank you all once again. Stay safe and goodbye.